Good morning, children. Now we are moving to second lesson of this term. The topic of the lesson is Uncle Ken at the wicket. Do you like cricket, children? Do you know the term wicket is used in which game? Yes, cricket. Children, do you like cricket? What do you know about it? In 1932, India played its first ever cricket test match against England. Women started playing cricket in the 18th century. The first ever women's test was played between England and Australia in 1934. Children, find out the meanings of the following cricket terms. Can you tell me what is meant by maiden over? Maiden over means an over in which no runs are scored. Maiden over means what? An over in which no runs are scored. Duck. In the cricket game, what is the term duck means? Means a batsman score of 0. A batsman score of 0. Next, bouncer. Bouncer means what? A ball bowled short and fast that causes the ball to rise up near the batsman's head. A ball bowled short and fast that causes the ball to rise up near the batsman's head. What is meant by LBW? LBW means leg before wicket. When the ball hits a player's leg instead of hitting the bat and would have hit the wicket if the leg had not stopped it, the batsman is declared out. Understood, children? Once again I will tell you. When the ball hits a player's leg instead of hitting the bat and would have hit the wicket if the leg had not stopped it, the batsman is declared out. Understood? Next, the term innings. Innings means the division or period of a cricket game during which one team bats. The division or period of a cricket game during which one team bats. Uncle Ken visits Lucknow and is whisked away by the Gonti Cricket Association to play a match. Whisked away means move somewhere quickly. One day, Uncle Ken announced that he was going to Lucknow to stay with Aunt Emily. For that, Granny said, "She has 3 children and a school to look after. Don't stay too long." "She doesn't mind how long I say," said Uncle Ken grumpily, and off he went. Grumpily means in a bad-tempered, complaining way. His visit to Lucknow was a memorable one. When Uncle Ken got down at Lucknow station, a large crowd surrounded him. Everyone was waving to him and shouting words of welcome in Hindi, Urdu and English. They welcomed him with garlands of marigolds. He just couldn't make out what it was all about. A young man came forward and announced, "The Gonti Cricket Association welcomes you to the historical city of Lucknow." Then he led Uncle Ken to a car that was waiting outside the station for them. The car drove into the sports stadium. Only then did Uncle Ken realize that he was expected to play in a cricket match. This is what had happened. Bruce Hallam, the famous English cricketer, was touring India. He had agreed to play in a charity match in Lucknow. But Mr. Hallam had gone to bed with an upset stomach the previous evening in Delhi. He hadn't been able to catch the train. He sent a telegram to the organizers of the match in Lucknow, but they didn't get it. The cricket fans of Lucknow had arrived at the station to welcome the great cricketer. And by a strange coincidence, Uncle Ken looked a lot like Bruce Hallam. He even had a bald patch on the crown of his head, hence the confusion. He had received a warm and enthusiastic welcome and a magnificent breakfast at the stadium. So he felt that it would be very unsporting to refuse to play cricket for them. If I can hit a tennis ball, he mused, I ought to be able to hit a cricket ball. The Gomti team won the toss and decided to bat. Uncle Ken was expected to go in at number 3, Bruce Hallam's normal position. He soon found himself walking to the wicket. The first ball he received was short pitched. He was able to deal with it in tennis fashion, swatting it to the mid-wicket boundary. The crowd cheered. The next ball took Uncle Ken on the pad. He was right in front of his wicket and should have been given out leg before. But the umpire hesitated to raise his finger. After all, hundreds of people had paid a lot of money to see Bruce Hallam play, and it would be a shame to disappoint them. The umpire said, "Not out." The third ball took the edge of Uncle Ken's bat and spread through the slips. Lovely shot! Exclaimed an elderly gentleman in the pavilion. Another man said, a classic late cat. The ball reached the boundary and Uncle Ken had 8 runs to his name. Then it was over and the other batsman had to face the bowling. He took a run off the first ball and called for a second run. Uncle Ken thought 1 run was more than enough. Why go charging up and down the wicket like a madman? However, he couldn't refuse to run, and he was halfway down the pitch when the fielder's throw hit the wicket. Uncle Ken was run out by yards. There could be no doubt about it this time. He returned to the pavilion to the sympathetic applause of the crowd. Sympathetic applause means friendly clapping. Understood? The elderly gentleman said, not his fault. The other chap shouldn't have called. There wasn't a run there. Still, it was worth coming here all the way from Kanpur, if only to see the super late cut. Uncle Ken enjoyed a hearty tiffin. Hearty tiffin means heavy snacks or meals. Hearty tiffin means heavy snack or meal. Then he slipped out of the pavilion, left the stadium and took a tanga to Aunt Emily's house. Tanga means two-wheeled vehicle drawn by a horse. Understood? He was just in time for the second lunch with Aunt Emily's family. Aunt Emily, a forceful woman, fed Uncle Ken for a week. She then put him to work in the small boys' dormitory of her school. It was several months before he was able to save up enough money to run away and return to Granny's place. Uncle Ken had the satisfaction of knowing that he had helped the great Bruce add 8 runs to his grand total. The scorebook of the Gomti Cricket Association has recorded this achievement for all time. B. Hallam ran out 8. The Gomti team lost that match, but as Uncle Ken would readily admit, he said, where would we be without losers? Children, go through this lesson 2 or 3 times. Thank you.